Hello Galactic Family. Saint Germain's message: the Red Pill Awakening Battle for Freedom. I am Saint Germain. I come to be with you at this time, in these momentous times of change happening everywhere, all around you, up until recently. Those changes have been largely unseen, but they are beginning now to come more and more to the forefront. Changes that you have been visualizing, that you have been creating for some time now. Actually going back lifetimes you have been creating this new reality. But now, more and more in these moments, light is filtered through into all areas of the planet. The light of truth. The light of oneness. The light of the I Am presence within each and every being on the planet. Even those that would shy away from the light cannot withstand the light. They cannot hold against it, and, if they tend to do so, they will indeed be consumed by that very light. So know this. Know that as these changes continue to develop across the planet, and more people were coming awake, all of you, each and every one of you have taken the so-called red pill. Each of you have been red-pilled. And more people across the planet are also beginning to take that red pill. No longer can you take the blue pill and fall back asleep. That is no longer possible here as you move beyond that, as if there was a line drawn in the sand and you have all moved across it, never to go back again. For you are in the process of ascension, moving from one level of consciousness to another level of consciousness. Awaken, each and every one of you awaken to the I Am presence within each of you. And that I Am presence is forever there with you, has always been there, and now you are awakening to it, awakening to the higher level of consciousness that the I Am presence brings to you, and that connection to your higher self. Many of you have been connecting with your higher self and your higher level guides that have been working with you diligently to bring you step by step along the ladder of love and oneness. This is the time, my friends. This is the time to reach for freedom within each and every one of you, and freedom for all of those around you. Freedom for the state you are in, the country you are in, whatever it is. It is all about coming to the freedom so that you are free to love and share, and be one with each and every one, with no thought of fear, no thoughts of anger, or hatred, or jealousy. All to be replaced by love and light. And the truth shall indeed set you all free. For you have been coming more and more to that truth, the truth of the connection of all, because of the one. You have heard many times to be the one. This is not just a few words, but words that have deep meanings. Be the one. Be the one consciousness, the one understanding, the one light. Be the I Am presence, which is the one. Nothing, and no thing, can stop you now, stop you as the collective you from gaining more and more momentum as the dominoes begin to fall, and will continue to fall more and more rapidly across the entire planet. And the catapult, or the catalyst of all of this is you, especially those of you in this United States for America, and the new republic that is being born again. And you all are a part of that new republic of bringing it forward, bringing it to the next level of consciousness. A level of consciousness that was envisioned by those of your forefathers who envisioned a great state, a great country, a great planet. For all, indeed all are created equal, and are one with the God presence within them. So allow yourselves now through these times coming to not fall back, even an inch. To keep moving forward. No matter how many times you might fall, pick yourself back up and keep moving forward again, and again, and again. And reach out to your fellow neighbors and assist them along the way. Just as you have received assistance, now it's time to give others assistance. Whatever way you are guided to do, simply trust in that guidance. I am Saint Germain, and I leave you now in peace, and love, and oneness, and the battle for freedom that was begun in this country so long ago. The battle that you are all winning and are bringing forward indeed the new Republic of Light. Again my partner steps aside and what follows is new information. The message is going to be combined with information I've been giving you for more than 2 decades, but there is now a completion of the next phase of knowledge. The year 2018 in Tibetan numerology is a master number. It adds up to 11, and the meaning of this number is illumination. So it's like an invitation to allow this year to be the one where the light is turned on in so many minds about what is truly happening for the planet. Today, I give you very esoteric but profound information that speaks about you and who you are. It speaks of a new paradigm of human being. The study this weekend has been both scientific and esoteric. Those who have been in this audience have received something that most do not, a combination of energies. It's a combination of science and what you call spirituality, which then blurs this whole study in a way where some have to ask, what really is the difference between them? So I'll say it again, if you believe that God or a creative source created the planet, then that creative source logically has to be the master physicist. Everything you're looking at and studying is the creation from an intelligent outside source and, therefore, your science is the study of what this creative source did. You have to start understanding that there is more than just an overlap between science and spirituality. It is actually the same study. It's a sign of the times that, within your reality, even the most scientific humans are often saying, we see some kind of an intelligence in the universe that has affected all of us. We don't understand how it works and we don't know why, but it has to be there because of the logic of what we are actually observing. This statement refers to the older idea that randomness and chance created everything, yet this is now being seen as impossible. It also gives new urgency to the question, who are you, really? Eventually, even the most closed-minded of those who study science will have to come around to a conclusion that things are not as they thought or were told. The very study of human evolution will come into question. The prevailing ideas of how you got here, and how long it took, are wrong. It is now, post-2012, that there will start to be very clear indications of another story completely. Even with that, your educational textbooks continue to give you a mythology of a lineage of human development. This will have to change, and I'll tell you why, dear ones. It's because if it does not, there will be a rebellion within the young people who are looking around and seeing a different truth. This will eventually force a rewrite of a history that is currently biased in old thinking and old ideas. But that's not what I want to talk about. The creation story revisited. I want to talk about the rest of the story. What follows is completely and totally esoteric, with only occasional punctuations of science. But it is logical. I wish to tell a story I've told before, but now will be enhanced. It's a story of creation. It's one of the greatest love stories that you could have on the planet. And it speaks of those in another part of the galaxy who have a spiritual evolution millions of years greater than yours millions. What do you think that might look like? If consciousness is evolving within humans, and since consciousness has been shown to affect physical things, is it too much of a stretch to imagine that your consciousness might be able to eventually control some physics? The ones who seeded you can control many parts of physics with their consciousness. It's not technology, but a spiritually evolved, loving consciousness. They came to this planet 200,000 years ago and changed you. We call them the seed planters, and you call them the Pleiadians. To many, they even are called angels, since when they are seen, it is out of this world to you. Is this ridiculous to you? Let me ask you, did you ever have masters on this planet who seemed to control physics and reality? The answer is most of them. Think about it. What if mastery of your spiritual self creates the ability to alter systems you haven't discovered yet? You have seen it and reported it in your ancient scriptures. What these seed planters did is to change your consciousness through biological advancement. They literally changed the magnetic patterns that exist inside the very DNA of the modern human. From a spiritual aspect, you receive the ability to discern God inside, and to sense or discern the potential of a benevolent creator. You receive the ability and free choice to know the difference between dark and light, right and wrong, and feel the love of God. This was on purpose, as designed by the creative source, and was not an accident or an experiment. You are here on purpose, dear ones. This is a test of energy for your civilization. But it doesn't stop there because there is a time frame involved. It's a time frame that we have not discussed fully before, but it still relates to the perception of the stars that you observe. The stars move slowly in a very consistent pattern that corresponds with your planet's slow wobble as it goes around your sun. The wobble of your planet, as you have measured it, is 26,000 years long from start to finish. The time frame duration of this test of humanity's free choice of light and dark consciousness is 2 cycles of the 26,000-year wobble. Listen. Many have thought it was 1 cycle. However, it was 2. Humans have been here a very long time. For those who are already lost in this discussion, we review the discoveries and ideas from the ancients, which say there is a great deal of history before your history. You have your own ideas of how long you have been here, and it doesn't go much past 9,000 years. However, there is now evidence that there were some civilizations before yours who even knew about astronomy. We even gave you a channeling while in Turkey about this very subject. The prevailing ideas of this theory had you with 5 civilizations on the Earth all within 1 cycle of the 26,000-year wobble. Many believe that moving into 2012 has you beginning the 6th cycle. December 21, 2012, was the centering of the wobble. In addition, the Mayan calendar long count is almost exactly 1/5 of the 26,000-year cycle, indicating it was the calendar for your civilization. However, now we tell you that the real time frame of this entire human test of energy light and dark was 2 cycles 52,000 years, not 1 cycle of 26,000 years. That means that humans like you, thinking like you, and evolved exactly like you, have been here for 52,000 years. So, do you really think humans have had history on your planet for more than 50,000 years? What are you taught in school? Stand by for a revelation. What a coincidence. Korean being funny, the oldest confirmed civilization that you have measured through DNA and archaeological evidence, is indeed approximately 52,000 years old. It's in Australia. Here is the proof that humans like you have actually been around that long. Why 52,000 years? Because there were approximately 10 civilizations of humanity, not 5. We say approximately because they melded into each other, but were still distinctly separate. So, if this is true, what do you now think about the teaching you got in school about the length of the development of civilization? Will you go with the books or with the new evidence? These first 5 cycles didn't have the numbers amount of humans that would give you that which is measurable now as a civilization, but, dear ones, these groups still destroyed themselves or were in a place that destroyed them. In smaller numbers, in tribes, this was very possible. You can still or until there are only a few left, no matter how few you are. You can still have dark human nature, over and over. Take a look at your own known history. This is exactly what you did as well. The weather cycles also contributed to this. For when you start to understand that there are actually cycles involved in your current weather shift, you will also see that they relate to the wobble. Isn't it interesting that you have one right now and it's the beginning of a new wobble cycle? What is your Akash really filled with? How many years have you worked this puzzle, old soul? Well, I've just told you. Some of you go back 52,000 years. When you then start looking at the timeline of Lemuria that we have given you, it also starts to make sense. The history of Lemuria was given during the conference. Lemuria goes back 50,000 years. We gave this information to you more than a decade ago. Archaeologists are not going to find much from the past 5 civilizations 26,000 years. In fact, it's even difficult to find things that are over 14,000 years before the Indus Valley Group. Nature does a good job of covering almost everything that humans do. Within those first smaller civilizations, there were a few structures, but they weren't big. Some of those civilizations had no structures at all, and just like the history of the indigenous of Australia, they moved with the seasons and the food. They never stayed in one place for long, and farming wasn't yet evolved. Even with the few, however, there were enough of them to disagree with who should share resources. Sound familiar? There were enough of them to be afraid of each other, since they met others they didn't know as they traveled. They couldn't see each other well, since they didn't share much past their own groups. There were enough of them to go to war with one another. There were enough of them to wound each other and let infections, disease and plague wipe out the few who were left. The profundity of the DNA shift. Now, the next revelation is this something we have discussed before, but the Twist Master needs to hear it again. He is here in the audience and his Lemurian name is Yoi. This is referring to Dr. Todd Avakadis, DNA researcher, who is in the live audience. Yes, your human DNA was changed. We have channeled this since my partner accepted me Korean 28 years ago. We told you that when the Pleiadian seeds were planted on this beautiful earth, the ones who gave you the knowledge of light and dark, it was done by altering your DNA. It directly gave you a portion of the DNA that the Pleiadians had in them. The biggest thing they gave you was a pair of chromosomes which have been hiding for a long time. I'll tell you about them in a moment. But this pair of chromosomes allows for a specific memory of wisdom, intuition, and an evolved ability to pull yourself out of what you call current human nature. It gives you the ability to completely think way beyond war. Dear ones, this has always been a test of free choice, without interference from any outside source, to see if you could discover it. You have. Now you sit in a time, right at the end of the 10th civilization and the beginning of the 11th, and you have figured it out. The energy is changing on the earth for you. There is more ability for you to advance in light right now than there ever has been before. There is now an ability for you to become multidimensional. The next step, becoming multidimensionally aware. For the past few years, I have been channeling about this. In fact, it's the subject of the last publication of Korean Book 14. What is it like for a human being to step out of linearity and become multidimensional? What would it look like? It affects your consciousness. The consciousness we are talking about is the evolving thinking and awareness of a multidimensional human. It is a consciousness that is higher. One of empathy, compassion, caring, gentleness, benevolence and greater wisdom. It's a consciousness where you remember what makes things work that you've never known in 10 civilizations. From the stars, it's an understanding that war does not work. Appreciation of the beauty of life and humanism is the core. It creates a driving, prime directive within every new child born on the planet: honor life. And, dear ones, it comes from something that happened in your DNA. Today you studied something remarkable, scientific, beautiful and controversial. You studied in depth what happened when a chromosome pair labeled number 2 suddenly changed 200,000 years ago. Somehow you lost chromosome pair 24, and also somehow there was a morphing of another pair, and pair number 2 received some startling changes. You ended up with 23 pairs, unlike any mammal supposedly below you in the evolutionary chain. Suddenly there was huge missing link in what you are currently told about human evolution, and this has remained a puzzle since then. What actually happened is that your DNA changed radically. It changed to reflect the parent seed planter, the Pleiadian. Those listening to this who are very spiritual and have strict doctrines created by humans will roll their eyes and say, "I knew it. That New Age channel says that we came from ETs." Dear ones, that's not what I'm telling you. Instead, I'm telling you that those so-called ETs, those Pleiadians, knew God inside. They knew about the creative source far better than you do, and they know everything that has to do with the other side of the veil because they were living it. This is what the evolution of consciousness is all about. It brings you into an alignment with what is hidden on the other side of the veil. It reveals the connection, finally, to the outside, the creative source. God inside has been the premise of the Korean message for 28 years. Is it really too much of a stretch for you to think that others in the galaxy knew the one God that you know on Earth? DNA, the missing 24th pair of chromosomes. Back to your DNA, you observed that you have 23 pairs of chromosomes, and you are beginning to study amazing, big, biological changes from the past, the fusion of some of your DNA and the enhancements that occurred during that. Well, you missed something. It's obscure, but there is something else. Science revealed a potential some years ago. Experiments showed that your DNA might actually be a bit multidimensional. What they report is that the presence of DNA in the quantum field changes the spin of electrons in that field. When DNA is then removed, the changes that occur due to the DNA remain. Follow the logic. If the presence of DNA changed atomic structure in a multidimensional field, it therefore could have a multidimensional component. Let me introduce you to something that we have stated one time before. You still have 24 pairs of chromosomes. They were moved around, combined, and the new 24th pair is multidimensional. This invisible pair, not in 3D, has been unused for 10 civilizations, and now it's starting to awaken due to the shift. It is also being affected by the radiation that is new in your magnetic field, being slowly created by a new area in space that your solar system is beginning to go through. Do you understand this premise? You still have 24 pairs, but one of them is not seeable, just like gravity is not visible or the magnetic field itself. This very special 24th pair is fully multidimensional, and that is why your DNA can actually affect the spin of an electron in a quantum field. So, what does it mean to you? It means that you have the ability to pull yourself out of linear thinking, out of that which always led you right into war and dysfunction. Are you getting this? You never were wise enough to understand really who you were. This is now changing. Those who realize this and begin awakening to this new idea are the old souls who have been here for thousands of lifetimes and who experienced the horror of war and had been waiting for this very thing. These are the ones who understand the confluence of synchronicity is not chance. It's planned. They also are learning that coherence of a more positive human consciousness is starting to occur worldwide. It's the coherence of a connection to the other side of the veil. It's a connection that you didn't expect and that will eventually affect everything that is part of your reality, from your politics to your corporations. It's a coherence that will cause trouble, since there are many who wish to keep the old energy as it was. Dear ones, as odd and eye-rolling as all this sounds, you will see it actually happening. As this 24th pair starts to light up, someday you might even meet those who put it there. Again, I ask, is it simply too bizarre for your mind to imagine that others are here with you in your vast galaxy, who are far older and more advanced, and who found the beauty of God? Think about it. This is the love story. The Earth is not a simulation as some high thinkers have defined it, but rather it may look like it since what happened on it is completely artificial. In other words, life was created and developed much too fast on Earth to be by chance. That was by design. The human being who was changed here 200,000 years ago was by design. There was no randomness in the development of this beautiful, design system you live in called Gaia. You are in a profound test of dark and light, as we have been saying for a long time. It's the end of the channel, but it's the beginning of something remarkable. As this information I have given begins to manifest itself, humanity will start to realize that they're in total control of what happens next. There will be new hope for this planet that's based on some things that science is just barely starting to see, not admitting yet, but starting to see. You are in a time when new information can fly around the planet in seconds. These new and unexpected things that are seen through new discoveries will never be able to be kept secret in this new paradigm. Listen, no matter what the paradigms or protocols of the old were, you can have something be seen and presented to tens of millions that smiles and says hello, and then have a small group of leaders or educators tell you it didn't happen. Do you understand this metaphor? You can't hide or deny light anymore. Too many are watching. This will be the frustration that is coming in so many areas. There will be great conflict between what you see and what you have been told. Old souls, all of you listening here in this room, this is the free choice of the age. Get ready for it. Indeed, the teacher Greg is correct. Scientist Greg Braden, who presented in the seminar, this will eventually define who you are and your place in the universe, and especially your galaxy. I know who you are, dear angelic being with God inside. I know who you are. Time for you to see it, too. Love is not only a feeling. The sages believe that love is the singular force in the universe, that all of creation arises from love, and that every beautiful thing you create in your life comes from love. Love is a force that you cannot escape, like gravity. It is ubiquitous, yet invisible. It exerts an irresistible pull on us, leading us to acts of courage and foolishness beyond our wildest imagining. But unlike gravity, which you cannot do anything about, you cannot easily levitate, for example, love is the force that you use to co-create with the primordial light. When you discover this, you can go about dreaming a new world into being. For the shamans we work with at the Four Winds, love is not a feeling, although most of us experience it as such. It is a force. It's what the flower feels for the morning dew, the jaguar for the deer it hunts to feed her cubs. It is the rainbow after a rain. Love is the force that can help us elicit the truth amid the lies. And above all, love is the power of the primordial light, which is cognizant, intelligent, wise. We can interact with the primordial light, what we call spirit, and it responds to us. This is the contract that the Leica has with spirit. You call, and spirit responds to you every single time. Transforming the daydream of love, that is unconditional, requires you to discover fearlessness. You become fearless by taking 3 actions. Give up the fantasy of finding your perfect soulmate. Love who you are, even with that nasty streak. Give up the idea of a God who loves you only when you do what's right. How do we recognize when we are living under the spell of a daydream? Daydreams always contain a contract or agreement that we make with life that goes like this: then when I find my true love or my true calling, or the perfect house, or job, then I will be happy or successful, or fulfilled, or name it. But life does not like these bargains. We begin to wake up from the daydream when we turn the then agreement around: when I love who I am, then others love me. When we break the habit of searching for our soul mate, we start to end the dream of unconditional love. The next action we must take is to love who we are, and here's how: be fearless as you look at yourself. You are what you are. Take a deep breath and accept that for better and for worse, you are you. No one else is going to give you this kind of approval without extracting a sky-high price. Embracing all of yourself is the true path to unconditional love for all those around you. Your parents, partner, children, friends, extended family, and co-workers. All are imperfect, the same as you. What parts of yourself will you love today? A new understanding, decrypting ancient texts and extraterrestrial encounters throughout many in church-based ministry, I begin to uncover a hidden layer within the Bible. As a theological educator, I not only preached from the scriptures but also taught pastors how to interpret and decipher the ancient texts. It was during this journey that I started to realize there was something peculiar about the stories we had been traditionally taught. I delved into the narratives, searching for a deeper meaning that went beyond conventional interpretations. In my exploration, I stumbled upon intriguing anomalies within the Bible's accounts that challenged our conventional teachings. It became evident that certain words, translated as God, had alternative meanings that were overlooked. These words held clues to a different reality, one intertwined with extraterrestrial beings. Through my research, I uncovered astonishing references to extraterrestrial presence in the Hebrew canon, known as the Old Testament. As I continued my investigations and published my findings in a series of books, such as Escaping from Eden, I realized the need to revisit the topic. Was the Bible merely a collection of stories with a few mentions of aliens, or did it hold a more profound and comprehensive narrative? Could it be that the stories we believe to be about God were, in fact, accounts of something entirely different? I embarked on a journey, delving into the root meanings of keywords throughout the Bible, following a trail that led me deeper into the rabbit hole. The Bible, when viewed through the lens of ancient extraterrestrial contact or paleo contact, offered a wealth of knowledge beyond traditional interpretations. It became an intricate tapestry of teachings on various subjects, including colonization, covert government operations, hidden influences in economics and politics, and even ancient technologies. What emerged from my studies was a revelation of how the narrative of paleo contact had been suppressed, altered, and replaced with monotheism. The Bible, within its pages, divulged the timing and individuals responsible for this manipulation. The Eden Conspiracy, a culmination of my research, shed light on these intricate webs of secrecy and unveiled a hidden truth. Interestingly, our current era aligns with the growing mainstream recognition of the extraterrestrial phenomena. With the emergence of UAP unidentified aerial phenomena or UFO study groups, more individuals are now questioning the existence of extraterrestrial life. However, what many fail to realize is that this phenomenon is not new. It stretches back thousands of years, as revealed by historical evidence and testimonies. Notable figures, including former Canadian Minister of National Defense Paul Hellyer and Israeli Chief of Space Security Haim Eshed, have come forward with claims of a galactic federation and ongoing communication with extraterrestrial races. These recent revelations, combined with ancient texts and indigenous narratives from diverse cultures worldwide, point to a consistent story of contact between humans and otherworldly beings. The unfolding disclosure coincides with the understanding presented in the Bible. It exposes the hidden layers within ancient scriptures, corroborating the accounts of covert contact, hybridization, and advanced technologies. While contemporary society may perceive these recent disclosures as groundbreaking, they are merely confirming what our ancestors have shared through their oral traditions and ancient writings. The Bible, once seen as a religious text with a straightforward narrative, now invites us to explore the hidden truths behind its words. It offers an education in the realms of ancient extraterrestrial contact, providing a framework for understanding our past and potential future interactions. As we unravel the layers and read between the lines, we gain insights into the manipulation of human history and the ongoing conflicts among the celestial powers. The Garden of Eden story, for instance, challenges our conventional understanding of good and evil. The serpent, often portrayed as the villain, becomes a symbol of enlightenment and empowerment. It represents the desire to activate our dormant potential, awaken our consciousness, and expand our knowledge. The rivalry between Yahweh Enlil and the serpent Enki reveals conflicting agendas regarding human intelligence and freedom. Furthermore, ancient texts, including the Sumerian accounts, allude to genetic experiments, splicing extraterrestrial DNA with our primate ancestors to create Homo sapiens. These stories of hybridization, found across various cultures, suggest that our origins are intertwined with celestial beings and their intricate agendas. They highlight the manipulation and limitation of human cognitive abilities, restricting our perception of reality and keeping us easily managed. Intriguingly, these ancient narratives also offer glimpses of advanced technologies, such as spacecraft, wormholes, and portals. The texts describe phenomena that align with our modern understanding of extraterrestrial encounters and advanced scientific concepts. These parallels further affirm the existence of hidden knowledge in ancient technologies beyond our current understanding. As we uncover these ancient truths and correlate them with contemporary disclosures, a broader narrative emerges that spans civilizations, cultures, and time. It challenges our preconceived notions of the Bible and invites us to reevaluate its teachings through a fresh perspective. By embracing this new understanding, we gain deeper insights into our cosmic origins, the manipulation of human history, and the potential for a future that transcends our limited worldview. The journey of deciphering the Bible's hidden messages is ongoing, as more evidence comes to light and further revelations emerge. As we navigate this path, it is crucial to remain open-minded, questioning the narratives presented to us, and seeking deeper truths. The ancient texts hold wisdom and knowledge that can shape our understanding of our place in the cosmos and the possibilities that await us as we embrace our cosmic heritage. Bible's enigmatic accounts hint at a reality far more complex and extraordinary than we have previously comprehended. By peering through the lens of paleocontact and exploring the connections between ancient texts and modern disclosures, we embark on a profound journey of discovery. It is a journey that challenges our understanding of the past, present, and future, offering a glimpse into the remarkable tapestry that connects humanity, extraterrestrial beings, and the hidden forces shaping our world. By Enki's will, it appeared that Enki desired to share the fruits of the tree of knowledge, awakening humanity's higher potentials. However, when it came to immortality, there seemed to be some reservation. The story of Adapa and the offer of the elixir of immortality raises interesting questions. In various ancient texts, including the cuneiform tablets and biblical stories, we encounter a recurring theme of humans yearning to regain what they once possessed, not just heightened cognitive powers, but also extended lifespans. The power imbalance between humans and those who govern them becomes apparent when the rulers have the ability to self-heal while being capable of harming and even killing their subjects. It is natural for humans to aspire to reclaim the longevity and perceived immortality enjoyed by their ancestors, as it empowers them to have a better human experience, one where they are less susceptible to manipulation and exploitation by longer-lived beings. One significant biblical tale is that of Noah's Ark. If we accept the aforementioned perspective, it suggests that the pre-flood civilization, inhabited by Noah, Enoch, and Methuselah, experienced the use of advanced space technology by the Anunnaki. Thus, it stands to reason that the Great Flood was not a mere accident but a deliberate act caused by Enlil, who potentially employed his space fleet and directed energy weapons for weather modification, such as melting ice caps. Nevertheless, Enki, the opposing Anunnaki, assisted Noah in constructing the Ark, leaving us to ponder whether the Ark was a wooden vessel or a spacecraft. While the specifics remain intriguing, it is worth noting the universality of flood narratives across different cultures worldwide, indicating a shared memory of a massive inundation and the subsequent salvation of a select family and animals. The opening verses of Genesis hint at weather manipulation by visitors referred to as Elohim, the powerful ones. Their arrival in Aurora, associated with vortices of wind separating the waters and land, suggests the process of rehabilitating Earth for life. Genesis can be seen as a recovery narrative, where the planet is rejuvenated with the help of these advanced beings. Exploring further, we find references to multiple flood events in Genesis, signaling recurring catastrophes. It is a repeating pattern in the Bible, with hints at significant geological changes and the extinction of a culture, alluding to a world where human beings find themselves entangled in wars and proxy conflicts among these powerful entities. The God figure in the Bible, often seen as a God of love, takes on a different light when we understand that the biblical God character aligns with Enlil, who harbors a disdain for humanity, deeming their numbers excessive. The transition from polytheism to monotheism in Judaism played a pivotal role in reshaping the narrative. The aim was to establish a theocracy centered around one God, one king, one high priest, and one temple, effectively erasing the memory of other advanced beings and relegating them to mythology. Asherah, a significant figure honored by the ancient Israelites before this shift, was disparaged alongside the elevation of Yahweh. Asherah, often depicted as a female figure, held great importance in ancient Jewish homes, and her association with the Great Leap Forward in agriculture is well documented. The Hebrew scriptures themselves mention this change, as the memory of Yahweh became negative for the Israelites, while Asherah continued to be revered. This alteration sought to consolidate power, control the narrative, and create a centralized theocratic system. The Greek civilization, in contrast, embraced a more polytheistic worldview, synthesizing various wisdom traditions and acknowledging the interactions between gods and humans. Plato, for instance, incorporated the idea of a populated cosmos and the reactivation of higher cognitive powers into his philosophical works. The Greeks had a more open and unafraid approach to these concepts, which survived and influenced early Christian thinkers. Similar to the Greeks, other cultures worldwide maintain their ancient stories, be it Native American, Hawaiian, or Aboriginal Australian, with recurring references to the Pleiades and the involvement of advanced beings in the advancement of humanity. The ancient texts, including the Bible, provide us with glimpses into a world where competing extraterrestrial factions vied for control, resources, and hegemony. These factions, symbolized by figures like Yahweh and Asherah, were part of a broader cosmic landscape that involved conflicts, proxy wars, and differing agendas. Recognizing this non-human layer of our planet's history enables us to gain a more comprehensive understanding of our past and present. As we piece together the fragments of ancient wisdom, we begin to fathom the profound influence these interactions had on our civilization and the role they continue to play in shaping our collective consciousness. One significant discovery in the 20th century was the Nag Hammadi texts, which shed light on a group of Christians known as Gnostics. They viewed Yahweh as a demiurge or pretender, with Jesus or Yeshua praying to a different supreme god, Eliana. Essentially, they believed that Yahweh was not the true deity. When we examine these texts, we realize that early Christianity was a diverse tapestry of texts, experiences, theologies, and ideas. Over time, it was condensed into an official canon, and anything outside of it is often referred to as Gnostic. However, even within the canonical texts, there are intriguing aspects. Jesus never directly mentions Yahweh by name, and at times, he seems opposed to Yahwistic law. In the book of Acts, the apostolic leaders recognized that Christianity was not bound by Yahweh's law, as Jesus had superseded it with new teachings. Instead, Jesus referred to God as Abba or Father. The Apostle Paul defined God as the source of the cosmos, distinct from the vision of Yahweh presented in Hebrew scriptures. Some might argue that ancient history, such as the Sumerian texts, has no relevance to modern politics and contemporary science. However, I believe there is a connection. For instance, Professor Himesh's claim about a galactic federation working with the Trump administration aligns with the Sky Council mentioned in Sumerian texts. In my research, I explore these ancient extraterrestrial entities and organizations that not only existed thousands of years ago but also play a role in our present times. Considering the ongoing investigations into unidentified aerial phenomena UAPs by various agencies like the Pentagon, NASA, and interagency organizations, it is reasonable to speculate that some of these phenomena are remnants of ancient extraterrestrial civilizations or their technology. The Sumerian narratives and other evidence point to this possibility. To those involved in these investigations, I would say that the general public is more prepared than we assume to handle the knowledge of an inhabited universe. Recent polls indicate that a significant portion of Americans would not be surprised if extraterrestrial contact was revealed. Therefore, there is no need to fear a panic reaction. Gradual disclosure, allowing people to adjust to the idea, is a wise approach. Journalists should continue covering this topic to maintain public interest and pressure for transparency. Addressing the Christian community, I acknowledge that some Christians, particularly in the evangelical community, hold generalized views of extraterrestrials as demonic entities. However, there is a growing number of Christians who reject this perspective and adopt a more nuanced understanding. It is essential for pastors and ministers to educate themselves about the extraterrestrial presence and engage in open conversations with their congregations. The Bible, when read through the lens of ancient contact, reveals a narrative that includes extraterrestrial beings. The Roman Catholic Church, even under a conservative Pope, Benedict XVI, acknowledged this by granting permission to believers to explore extraterrestrial encounters within the Bible. It is time for other churches to follow suit and provide their members with the freedom to explore these ideas. By embracing this knowledge, Christians can better navigate the complexities of our world and engage with our interaction with extraterrestrial beings. Thank you so much for watching our videos, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the like button. We appreciate your support and enthusiasm for the planetary ascension. It means a lot to us that you are interested in this important and transformative topic. We are constantly working to bring you new and exciting content related to the planetary ascension, and we are thrilled to have you along for the journey. As we continue to explore this fascinating subject, we will share our insights and discoveries with you. We believe that by coming together and sharing our knowledge, we can help to usher in a new era of consciousness and understanding on our planet. Thank you again for being a part of this community, and we look forward to sharing more with you soon.